Alright, so we've covered the core gameplay. Combat through negotiations and battle, grow stronger by adding and upgrading cards, making friends and obtaining crafts. But the heart of the game, the main driving force, the element that truly alters your gameplay experience is the character that you choose. As I've said before, each campaign is incredibly unique, and this uniqueness extends to the playable characters. Each character is exceptional and brings their own flavor to the game. So let's take a closer look at each of the three main characters and what sets them apart. Sal is the first and arguably the most straightforward character in Griftlands. She embodies the classic assassin fighter archetype. Her storyline revolves around seeking revenge for the betrayal she suffered at the hands of her former boss, Cascio, who orchestrated the death of Sal's parents and sold her into slavery. Now, after nearly a decade, Sal returns seeking vengeance. Her sole objective is to eliminate Cascio by any means necessary.
You're here for Cascio. That's the only way this story ends.
This means aligning herself with either the greedy and corrupt police force that hunts Cascio as she became a criminal kingpin in the meantime, or joining the bandits who want to expand their shady business and see Cascio as an obstacle. In terms of gameplay, Sal is easy to grasp, as most of her mechanics are pretty straightforward. For example, one of her abilities is Bleed, which inflicts damage based on the amount of bleed applied to the enemy. The strategy here is simply to stack as much bleed as possible. Sal's more distinguishing mechanic is combo. By playing specific cards, you can accumulate combo stacks. This combo can then be spent on powerful finisher cards, typically dealing huge amounts of damage to enemies. Repeat this process a few times and they are toast. This cycle of building combo and unleashing devastating finishers is the core of Sal's battle strategy. Sal's negotiation style is pretty standard, with most decks focused on stacking either influence or dominance. There is nothing too unique about them. Honestly, there's not much more to say about Sal. She's very basic and straightforward, both in terms of her story and gameplay. But that doesn't mean she's boring, just uncomplicated and to the point. Rook is the second character, unlocked after completing Sal's campaign. He offers a vastly different experience from Sal and introduces a much more unique narrative. Formerly a captain in the local military force known as the Admiralty.
Captain Rook, the veteran, the hero, the saboteur, the spy.
Rook is now operating as a spy on a secret mission. What mission exactly? That's the best part. It's a secret, even from you. Rook's journey begins in the Grout Bog, a treacherous swamp plagued by dangerous creatures that is serving as a labor camp controlled by the technocratic faction known as the Spark Barons. Local workers, dissatisfied with the Spark Barons' exploitation and oppressive practices, have formed the Rise, a radical freedom movement advocating for workers' rights. Tensions escalate as the Rise prepares to revolt, while Spark Barons brace to suppress it. And here enters Rook, the spy. You are a double agent recruited by the Spark Barons to infiltrate the Rise and destroy it from within. Oh no, scratch that. You are a double agent recruited by the Rise to infiltrate the Spark Barons and help to kick off the rebellion. Wait, also no. You are both? Are you a triple agent? This is the twist. Rook is a spy hired by both factions to infiltrate and sabotage the other. Both factions believe you're their double agent, so they don't mind if you cause a bit of damage, because they believe you are doing it just to blend in. Whose side are you really on, and which of the factions you actually want to help is only up to you, the player. But until the time comes to make your decision, you can mislead and backstab both of them. This is such an awesome concept, and its execution is equally impressive. One of the best things is that the game doesn't spell it out for you. When you embark on Rook's campaign, you are clueless about the true nature of his mission. At first, you believe that you are just a double agent of the faction that you chose, only to discover that the other faction also sees you as their spy. It's a mind-bending realization that leaves you, the player, questioning whose side are you really on. Rook's gameplay is also very intriguing, especially in negotiations. But let's start with battles. His battles are designed around his trusty energy pistols and a unique chambers mechanic. By default, his pistols have 4 chambers. Each empty chamber grants 1 defense at the end of your turn. And if all chambers are empty, certain cards can trigger extra effects. On the flip side, charged chambers offer no immediate benefit, but some cards can consume this charge to enhance their effects. If you gain more charge while already fully charged, you accumulate overcharge, boosting the maximum damage of your cards. This means that cards that dealt 1 to 3 damage now will do 1 to 4 damage. This synergizes with Rook's concentration mechanic, which increases the minimum damage of his cards. Mastering this intricate balance between charge, overcharge and concentration is key to maximizing Rook's combat effectiveness, offering immense power at the cost of careful strategy. All this may sound complicated, but it is actually very intuitive and easy to grasp. Rook's negotiations take his uniqueness even further. The defining feature is his lucky coin, a pivotal element around which all decks are built. Plenty of Rook's cards come with a gamble keyword, prompting him to flip the coin, landing on either heads or snails. The outcome determines the effect. Heads often offer utility benefit, like drawing cards or providing block, while snails lean towards offensive actions, like dealing damage to enemies. By themselves, these effects are not inherently game-changing. Receiving a bit of block once in a while probably won't win you a run. But here's where things get interesting. Many of Rook's cards have special effects based on the current side of his lucky coin. Diplomacy cards receive upgrades when the coin shows heads, while hostility cards benefit from snails. This encourages you to strategically gamble to capitalize on these effects, especially with mixed decks. However, if you're focusing on one type of cards, you'll want to ensure the coin stays on the corresponding side. Managing this can be tricky, as many cards involve gambling the coin. To mitigate this, Rook can sometimes cheat by rigging the next coin toss or just straight away setting the coin however you want. In addition to the lucky coin, Rook employs other unique negotiation mechanics. One standout that I really enjoyed is preparing cards. When a card is in the leftmost position in Rook's hand, it becomes prepared. Some cards, when prepared, obtain incredible buffs, such as returning energy or receiving huge damage boosts. This can turn each negotiation into some sort of a puzzle, where you want to juggle your hand by playing cards in a specific order, so that other cards would get into the leftmost position and become prepared. Personally, I'm a big fan of Rook. His story is refreshingly thrilling and full of twists. Participating in it feels like an actual spy movie. Both his battles and negotiations are extremely unique and bursting with unusual strategies and deck possibilities. His design feels spot on to me, but whether it's just my preference or if the developers truly nailed it, I can't say for sure. But enough about Rook. There's one more character in the game, and he's also quite intriguing. Last but not least, let's talk about Smith. Smith stands out as the only non-human playable character in the game, hailing from the race of Kradeshi, a slug-like amphibian with a remarkable talent for regeneration. Smith is a member of the Banquots, a wealthy and noble dynasty. All of his siblings are successful people who managed to make a name for themselves.
Meanwhile, your siblings flourished. Theroux, the baby, grew out of diapers and into the Merchant's Guild, keeping his skin oil. Mullafi, your twin sister, sharpened her teeth at the Admiralty, swimming up the ranks like a sharp-toothed eel. And Vixmali, the eldest, became a Hessian cardinal. Guess those family ties paid off.
On the other hand, Smith took a different path, becoming a troublemaker known for frequenting bars rather than pursuing success. This lack of ambition led to resentment from his family, particularly his parents. Tragedy strikes when Smith's parents are killed during a religious ritual. But when he attempted to return home for the funeral, he was tossed out. Turns out, his siblings, considering him a disgrace to the family, decided to disown him, denying him any inheritance from their parents. Smith's story revolves around his quest to restore justice by reclaiming his place in the family and securing his rightful inheritance. This can be achieved by either reconciling with his siblings and restoring his reputation, or through seeking revenge by killing them all and taking all the wealth for yourself. Smith's playstyle differs significantly from those of Sal and Rook. His focus is mostly on battles, which is very fitting for him, as he is a chaotic and aggressive bar brawler type of person. Because of this, his battles are particularly engaging, revolving around his two primary traits: hurting himself and drinking booze. Smith's unique mechanic is Moxie, and it makes it so that each turn he heals by an amount equal to the Moxie, which increases when he takes damage on his own turn, or in other words, he heals when he hurts himself. Consequently, Smith has numerous cards that deal damage to himself to accumulate Moxie. In addition to that, he employs an Alleviate mechanic, which restores a portion of the health lost during the turn. The idea is to constantly damage yourself, but then heal back thanks to the Moxie and Alleviate, creating a very aggressive and dangerous playstyle. Another unique aspect of Smith's gameplay is him being a drunkard. Many of his cards allow him to drink booze, adding empty bottles to his deck. These empty bottles can then be used to enhance his other cards. By consuming bottles, you can play cards multiple times per turn, play cards for free, increase damage on cards, etc. Besides these two mechanics, he also possesses numerous other unique battle features such as Adrenaline, Threshold and Chain that make his battles even more special. Smith's negotiations are not nearly as unique as his battles and do not include as many special mechanics. There is basically just one: Renowned, dealing damage to a random target for every 2 stacks. Some cards also interact with Renowned, either triggering special effects or spending stacks for powerful abilities. The goal usually is to stack as much Renowned as possible while defending it from enemy attacks. Other than that, his negotiations primarily consist of classical diplomacy and hostility strategies, with a few interesting cards here and there, but nothing truly game-changing. Overall, Smith is an interesting character. He embodies somewhat of an anti-hero persona, being a bully, drunkard and troublemaker. Yet despite his flaws, he does not deserve the way he was mistreated by his family. This makes his quest for justice compelling, although his methods of achieving it can be pretty gnarly. From a gameplay perspective, Smith is clearly designed to focus more on battles than negotiations, with his battle cards offering more unique features than anyone else. The concept of a character who thrives on chaos, who is constantly wasted, hurling empty bottles at opponents and damaging himself in fits of rage, yet still enduring, is a fun and entertaining one. So yeah, in conclusion, Griftlands boasts 3 playable characters, each offering a completely unique gameplay experience. With around 200 individual cards each, and a personal campaign packed with memorable story, characters, events and bosses. These campaigns have so much variety that playing each of them almost feels like playing a different game entirely. Thank you for sticking around until the end. I hope you enjoyed everything. If so, please let me know in the comments and leave a like. And if you want to see more, why not subscribe to the channel? You'd be a really sweet honey bun if you did. Want more right now? Check out my full in-depth review of Griftlands here. Or take a look at another slice right here. I'll catch you in the next one.